We are live, folks. Only the latest details here on today's fourth stimulus check update and daily news update. Our live coverage of the House vote on the $1.75 trillion social stimulus bill and the $1 trillion infrastructure package happening at the same time. The Pelosi Jayapal showdown you definitely should not miss. And most importantly, what's going to happen to our stimulus from here on out? All that and more, so definitely stay right there to the very end. Just a quick intro because we have a lot on our show today. Hey guys, it's Ron here, your go-to guy for everything stimulus, the U.S. economy, and of course, boosting your income. I just want to thank you guys for always hitting the thumbs up on these videos. I really appreciate the support, and also subscribe to the channel if you loved it. I cannot wait to tell you guys what we found out today. The longest vote in modern history. That's what's happening in the House of Representatives right now as Democrats are just struggling to get the numbers on the board for both the bipartisan infrastructure package and the mega social stimulus bill. A congressional aide confirmed that the active spending bill vote is now the longest chamber vote in modern history. So what's taking them so long, right? It's really the showdown happening between progressives and centrists, with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi right in the middle. The moderates, they want a Congressional Budget Office analysis of how much the $1.75 trillion is actually going to be paid for, like they said. Late last night, the House Democrats finally passed the infrastructure bill.
On this vote, the yeas are 228 and the nays are 206. The motion is adopted.
It says here, House Democrats late Friday night clinched a long-sought victory on President Biden's domestic agenda, passing a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill, while also advancing an even larger social spending package after months of some stubborn infighting that's derailed the party and helped deflate President Biden's public standing. Of course, we know President Biden's ratings in the polls haven't been their best lately, but of course the Biden administration at this point is very hopeful that this would actually help improve the ratings. The tally on the infrastructure bill was 228 to 206, with 13 Republicans crossing the aisle to support the measure, surprisingly, and 6 progressive Democrats bucking Biden, as well as party leaders, to register their opposition to a process that left the fate of the larger bill up in the air. The House then adopted a procedural rule establishing floor debate parameters for the $1.75 trillion social spending package along party lines 221 to 213. During a speech at the White House on Saturday morning, President Biden said passage of the infrastructure bill was long overdue and he would sign it soon. He said he would wait at least until after the weekend to enact it, to allow key lawmakers who helped get it over the finish line to attend a signing ceremony. Quote, "We did something that's long overdue, that long has been talked about in Washington but never actually done." This is what President Biden said, casting the bill as a transformative measure that will help reshape the U.S. transportation system and to create jobs. Quoting President Biden, he said, "Let me be clear, we will pass this in the House and we will pass it in the Senate." He insisted that the bill would be fully paid for and ease inflationary pressures. Latest news says that President Biden, as well as Lady Jill Biden, canceled their plans and are staying put. Could this mean that he's waiting to sign something from the House? Maybe the smaller infrastructure package? Then there's a showdown between progressives and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi herself. Pelosi escalated things when she dared liberals in her caucus to oppose the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Even with progressives threatening no, Pelosi announced that the infrastructure bill would come to the floor for a vote along with the rule governing the larger benefits package, but not the package itself. Progressives quickly responded with their chair, Representative Pramila Jayapal, issuing a statement, quote, "As we have consistently said, there are dozens of our members who want to vote both bills, the Build Back Better Act and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, out of the House together." Pelosi wasn't fazed. She instead went to the press and said that they've got it in the bag. Here's a clip.
We had hoped to be able to bring both bills to the floor today. Some members want more clarification or validation of numbers that have been put forth, that it's top line, that it is fully paid for, and we honor that request. So today, we hope to pass the BIF and also the rule on Build Back Better, with the idea that before Thanksgiving, it should take another week or so to get the numbers that they're requesting.
The Speaker's secret whip count. Wow. I would love to see that one. Jumping right in the middle of things, Biden called Jayapal Friday evening to make his case for Pelosi's plan. The move is definitely a surprise coming from Pelosi, who's always been known as a vote counter in the House. Now, according to one aide, quote, "I've never seen her bring something to the floor and dare people to oppose it. Have you? Moderates are all for it." Representative Feldman Vela said, "Let's vote them no. Let's see it. If they want to vote no against $1.2 billion in their own congressional district, we'll let them do it." Latest update says President Biden came up with a written commitment from moderates to appease the progressives. Representative Jared Hoffman, he confirmed that Biden was urging progressives to vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the procedural rule for the social spending package, quote, subject to some assurances and commitments that he was working to get. According to Huffman, quote, we're trying to get to yes. Of course, we begin the day at yes. And then the goalposts moved rather dramatically, end quote. Another progressive, Representative Mark Pocan, said, I think things are going really, really well. Still, Jayapal and dozens of her members are holding their ground. On the topic of moderate holdouts waiting for a budget score, Jayapal commented, a full accounting of the spending and revenue has been provided by the White House. Numerous pieces of legislation have already been scored, and the Joint Committee on Taxation has put out analysis that Build Back Better will contribute to reducing the deficit. However, if our 6 colleagues still want to wait for a CBO score, we would agree to give them that time, after which point we can vote on both bills together. Here she is in an interview.
The bipartisan infrastructure bill. Do Democrats have the votes in the House?
Well, Wolf, it's good to see you. We are working on that right now. The Speaker has been working very hard on that. Each of us that lead different parts of the Democratic caucus have been working very hard on that. I will tell you that progressives are in the same place that we've been for a couple of days. We are ready to vote both bills through. Our friends in some of the other parts of the caucus are getting the information they need to become comfortable with everything that is in the bill, and we hope to be able to get that very quickly. Well, we just want that bill to be finished, and we want to pass both bills through the House because we don't want any more delay on the things that are actually going to affect people's lives. And I think this election on Tuesday showed us how seriously we have to take these issues, these pocketbook issues. And the reality is the Build Back Better Act is going to reduce costs for poor families and working families. It's going to help with universal child care, universal pre-K, cutting the cost of prescription drugs, cutting the cost of housing, making housing affordable, and of course, taking on climate change and taking care of immigrants who have been holding up this country. So I think that's why we're not willing to leave anybody behind.
Jayapal also let go of some big words recently when she said that the $1.75 trillion Build Back Better plan is worth passing even if Democrats lose the House next year. Jayapal was asked early Friday ahead of an expected vote on the legislation if it's worth the party passing the legislation if it could help the GOP take back the House next year, just as Republicans did in 2010 following the passage of the Affordable Care Act. Without missing a beat, Jayapal said, quote, of course it's worth it if we're making people's lives better. What's the alternative? To do nothing? I mean, that's not going to get us anywhere. Part of what we have to do is really understand the economic frustration that people have right now. And I think that is really important for us, end quote. Now, looking at the White House side of things, President Biden said that he will sign the infrastructure bill as soon as he gets it. Oh, so that's why he's waiting around. It's confirmed, guys. According to White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, quote, if the infrastructure bill is passed today, he will sign it. It's important to get that done for the American public. But take note, guys, Jean-Pierre also commented that both infrastructure bill and broader spending packages are critically important to Biden. Here's what she said.
So if it passes, does the White House want Speaker Pelosi to send over the infrastructure bill for the president's signature immediately, or is it your preference that that waits until the Build Back Better plan gets voted?
So if the Build Back Better infrastructure bill passes today, the president's going to sign it. That is, but he also wants to make sure that we get the Build Back Better Act done as well, the framework that he put together. So both bills are critically important to him. He wants to move both of them forward as quickly as possible to, again, deliver for the middle class families, the middle class Americans. And if when Build Back Better, when Biff, there's so many B's. If the infrastructure bill is passed today, he will sign it. Absolutely. It's important to get that done for the American public.
Biden also said the same thing in his latest speech.
Right now, we stand on the cusp of historic economic progress. 2 bills that together will create millions of jobs, grow the economy, invest in our nation and our people, lower costs for families, and turn climate crisis into an opportunity, and put us in a path not only to compete, but to win the economic competition for the 21st century against all comers. And passing these bills will say clearly to the American people, we hear your voices. We're going to invest in your hopes, help you secure a brighter future for yourself and for your families, and make sure that America wins the future in the process. I'm asking every House member of the House of Representatives to vote yes on both these bills right now. Send the infrastructure bill to my desk. Send the Build Back Better bill to the Senate. Let's build an incredible economic progress. Build on what we've already done, because this will be such a boost when it occurs. Let's show the world that America's democracy can deliver and propel our economy forward. And let's get this done. I'll be back to answer some of your questions when they pass. But may God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Now, let me quote that one part. Quote, passing these bills will say clearly to the American people, we hear your voices. We're going to invest in your hopes. Help us secure a brighter future for yourself and for your families, and make sure that America wins the future. I couldn't agree more, you guys. So it's about time to get this done. Looking at the infrastructure package, it's not that bad stimulus-wise, guys. Definitely a lot of quality of life improvements in it for us. Now, there's long overdue funding for roads, rails, ports, and transportation. Not to mention a big improvement in our power and water systems. But here's a big one. A $65 billion investment in improving the nation's broadband infrastructure. Now, according to this, it aims to help lower the price that households pay for internet service by requiring federal funding recipients to offer a low-cost, affordable plan, by creating price transparency, and by boosting competition in areas where existing providers aren't providing adequate service. It would also create a permanent federal program to help low-income households access the internet. Translation? We may see an expansion on that broadband discount that we're currently getting from the latest stimulus package. Now, if you guys haven't heard about it, we're talking about the $600 to $900 in stimulus checks to help you pay for broadband needs. Now, that's basically anywhere between $50 and $75 off your broadband bills for a month, or rather per month. Now, there's also a $100 one-time discount for a gadget purchase like a laptop or a tablet. Now, if you guys have not yet gotten it, definitely check out getemergencybroadband.org for all the details. You can also call up your broadband provider so that they can set it up for you guys. One other stimulus good news that we got from this bill is the much-needed pay-for raise for federal wildland firefighters. We're talking $600 million will actually go to raising their salaries and paying for their expenses. All things considered, this is going to translate to a wage increase of about $20,000 per year, or an amount equivalent to roughly 50% of their base salaries. Not bad. Not to mention, the bill would also direct the Departments of Agriculture and Interior to convert at least 1,000 seasonal wildland firefighter jobs to full-time, permanent, and year-round federal employment, as well as develop and implement mitigation strategies that would actually help firefighters reduce their exposure to environmental hazards. Yeah, I'm definitely okay with all that stimulus. But I have to say, guys, there's definitely more room here. As for the $1.75 trillion worth of stimulus care of the reconciliation bill that they've been hashing out for months now. Now, from the top of my head, there's paid leave, there's lower drug prices, there's universal pre-K, Medicare and hearing and vision, senior care, expanding the child care tax credits and the earned income tax credit, not to mention housing. Big win for housing, actually, guys. Especially with all the rental assistance and first-time home buyer assistance aid. That could be as much as $15,000 if they stick to it. I don't know, guys. I'm really hoping that we get all of this. And I am still remembering from our words before, poverty is a policy choice, and so is stimulus. Our policymakers are literally making the law here, so why don't they just make the law a little bit more helpful for the people, right? I mean, throw in an extra stimulus check. So we're definitely sticking it out until we reach that sweet stimulus finish line. Now, I hope you guys are going to stay with me so that when we finally hear that the vote is announced, we can all celebrate together as a channel and a community. So join the family, hit that subscribe button, and tap that notification bell. And while you're at it, we would definitely love getting more people in our community, so be sure to share this video with your friends and your loved ones. The more people that know about this, the more people we can have fighting for more stimulus. Just hit the share button right there. More coming soon in our back-to-back coverage of all things stimulus these coming days. So for now, that was your fourth stimulus check update and daily news update, our live coverage of the House vote, and the $1.75 trillion social stimulus bill, as well as the $1 trillion infrastructure package. We also covered the Pelosi-Jayapal showdown that we're still watching, and most importantly, what's going to happen to our stimulus from here on out. More stimulus coming your way, guys, in our next video, so definitely tune in. And as always, I just want to thank you guys so much for always hitting the like button. Really pumps me up, gets me ready for the next one. And speaking of, I'm definitely excited to get to work on our next update, so I'll see you guys there.